Hi and welcome everyone back for another review and of course the sequel to Red, the first one, and this time I'm gonna review and talk about Red 2, which came out back in 2013, which is a sequel to the first movie, and it's actually written and based on a graphic novel by Warren Ellis and Cully Hammer, which is the sequel to the first one that came out 2010. And I didn't watch this film, and by the way, this is a custom cover for DC Comic Film Collection, for those who doesn't know. But I'm fine. This is the back. Now, the first movie I love to death. This movie I really like a lot. It's a really good movie. Fun, entertaining, but it's a huge step down from the first movie, because if I compare to the first two movies, the first movie is actually my favorite Bruce Willis. I don't think I'll put this movie in top 10 of his favorite, or top 11 his favorite movies. But the first movie, Red, I really enjoy. The sequel was directed by someone else, which was, I think, was Dean Pursuit, was directed by Dean Pursuit, and the screenplay was by, it was actually the same writers from the first movie. Was actually written by John Huber and Erich Huber, the same screenwriters who did the first movie. It was written by both of them, and directed. This time was actually a different director on the set. And it wasn't Robert Shintake. I think he directed that time some other film, that's why he wasn't on board. But in Pursuit, he did a good job directing the film. Now, almost all the gang is here. Bruce Willis returns as Frank Moses. Mary Louise Parker, she returns as Sarah Cross. John Malkovich returns as Marvin Box. And of course, Helen Mirren returns as Victoria Wilson, Victoria Winslow. She returns as Victoria Winslow. Also, we have a new cast, like Catherine Zeta-Jones. She's in this movie. That's her. Anthony Hopkins. Actually, he's not in this cover. Oh, actually he is. He's right there. Anthony Hopkins also guest stars, and of course two new actors are also in this movie, and that's of course Neil McDough. I can't pronounce his last name, Neil, and of course Han Cho-bai. Actually no, Lee Byung-hun. Han, that's actually the character he plays. He's a Korean actor, Lee Byung-hun. He actually plays Han Cho-bai, ex-NSA agent, and of course now the best contract killer. And the story, once again, Frank Moses is on the run. He becomes now declared to be a terrorist, and they're actually looking for him for Operation Nightshade. He and Marvin, they're both now hunted down by those intelligence service. They're actually the secret intelligence service, and of course MI6 is looking now for Frank Moses and hunting down, and they declare them as a terrorist because Interpol is also searching them. They declare them as they declare both of them as terrorists. And while he tries to hook up with his girlfriend, it's kinda, I don't know, it's just, I don't know, Han is now assigned to hunt down Frank Moses, and he tried to kill him, but it just doesn't, but it doesn't go anything by plan, while Frank tries to find the destructive weapon, which is actually titled Operation Nightshade, and while he goes into Paris, he meets Catherine Zeta-Jones. She's actually his ex-girlfriend, Katya Petronovich. She's a Russian agent, and of course they're looking for this guy who actually has a key. He's been called the Frog. There's actually a few car chases in Paris, which I like. The car chases in which Mary Louise Parker and John Malkovich, they're in the car, they're chasing this guy who steals a motorcycle, the Frog. He's called the Frog. And of course, Catherine Zeta-Jones and Bruce Willis are hunting him down. On the end, they do hunting him down. And John Malkovich and Mary Louise Parker, they hit in the wall, they get stuck in the wall, but the Frog's been then hit with the car, and because they try to find information, Bruce Willis and Catherine Zeta-Jones tries to cut him to pieces to talk. So instead, she goes and convinces him, she kisses him, because Catherine Zeta-Jones kissed Bruce Willis, and she's get jealous, she's like all jealous, and it's just, I don't know, it's just not as good as the first movie. I mean, I enjoyed the first one, but I would say a huge step down from the first movie, because I love the first one to death. I reviewed today the first one. The second movie, I don't know, it's just isn't that good as the first one. Yeah, it still has some good action sequences, I'm not saying in it. It's just Mary Louise Parker's performance, she kind of really annoyed the heck out of me this time around. I'm not saying she's a bad actress, she's a good actress. Just in this movie, she was kind of way too jealous, way too annoying. It wasn't convincing. Or she holds a gun, just like in the first movie, she was much better. In this movie, the second movie around, I don't know, it just wasn't so much good as the first one. That's one of the reasons I said the first one is my favorite DC comic book film. This one, for Bruce Willis, I mean, it's a good movie. It's an entertaining, good movie. I like the action sequences. There's an action sequence when Han goes with a heavy machine gun. Probably my only favorite scene in the movie. He goes with machine gun, General Dynamics Gauss 7.62 51 millimeters M103 minigun, which fired 6,000 rounds. It was the same, almost exactly weapon that was actually used in this movie, in Predator or Terminator 2. Almost the same exactly weapon, which was a minigun, but it's a heavily machine gun. And I read that the producers, because there's a law in the UK against gun, they could not bring that kind of heavy artillery weapons, heavy mass weapons. They could not bring it, and I think they actually filmed somewhere else. So while this guy, this actor Neil Jack Horton, intelligence agent, is hunting down Frank Moses, you have actually a scene in the open scene when Marvin visits Frank. Asks him to go in the action. Frank says no. He drives with his car, and his car gets blown in the supermarket. So Bruce Willis goes and visits him in the church on the funeral. So he gets arrested, I think, by a cops. While Neil McDougall and his men are showing up, and they tear the place apart and try to kill Frank Moses, but Marvin shows up with a shotgun and saves him. Now they became declared once again a terrorist, and they're on the run. They're hunted down by Jack Horton, who hires Han to kill Frank Moses because he's the best. While Frank, Sarah, and Marvin, they're looking for this destructive weapon device called Operation Nightshade, which also brings them to Russia, which they go to this mental asylum, and they break in the mental asylum. They find this guy, they actually find Anthony Hopkins. And there's a scene when, like I said, when Han uses a machine gun and blows whole van to pieces, and fires almost 1,000 rounds. I don't think it wasn't 1,000 rounds, but he fires all the rounds, destroys the van. And there's a scene when there's a explosion and a van flips over, and when Han shows up and finds that they escaped through the tunnel, they actually escaped through the sewer, they escaped. There's a scene in the store when Han attacks Bruce Willis. There's an excellent fight scene, and he gets then cut to a pool, and there's a fight scene. There's actually a fight scene which became a huge fight scene, and there's like a bunch of cops. Han goes and beats every cop, every cop he beats, which I love that scene. I like that scene, actually a really good scene. So by the finale, he goes and fights him off. By the finale, when Victoria, she's been hired by MI6 to kill Frank, but she warns them. But Marvin calls her and she decides to help him out. She fakes Frank, Sarah, and Marvin's dead. So they try to find out. So they try to find this the device, and they go to Mother Russia. And Mary Louise Parker, she pretends that she's like a Russian. She's like this Russian soldier, and this guy approaches her, talks to Russian, and she goes and kisses him, and Frank knocks the guys down and says it's when you are kissing him, and he has enough that she's been like all jealous. And it's just I forgot to mention when they actually tried to catch a frog. The actor grabs a machine gun and blows like whole restaurant, like whole bar. He goes and blows to pieces. And Catherine Zeta-Jones and Bruce Willis fires back with their guns when the guy runs away and steals a motorcycle. It's a really good car chase scene. But the rest, the rest, when they actually go and they in this asylum, when Bruce Willis and Helen Mirren go into the asylum, and they find out Anthony Hopkins, he plays Dr. Bailey. He's actually in prison he's in asylum. They let him free because they're looking for this destructive device. But when they go, it turns out that this guy wasn't because he was trying to prevent, that this weapon goes in the wrong places. No, it was because he tried to detonate this device. It's a huge bomb who tried to detonate it. And he goes and screws over when Victoria gets caught and finds out too late, by MI6. The officer, from MI6 orders that she gets killed, but she goes and kills the silencer in self-defense. And then she goes and tries to call Moses, and it was too late because Bailey betrayed them. He shoots Catherine Zeta-Jones. Catherine Zeta-Jones fall down. She passed away. She gets killed, and of course Jack and his commander officer, his chief of the intelligence service shows up. They leave the gang alone. They go into with a Bailey on the airplane through London, but actually with the device, but actually Bailey goes and kills everyone except Jack on the end. He lets him alive. He kills everyone on board with that kind of poison while he grabs the antidote. And now the gang is back in trouble, and they decide to stop it while they try to go to Aurania to stop Bailey. Han shows up and fights off Frank, and Frank asks him, I need your help, and he goes and convinces him, and Han decides to talk with him. You know, I forgot to mention, Bruce Willis stole Han's airplane. I love that scene when he's, oh, I'm gonna enjoy killing him. I like that scene, and they both fight each other, but Frank, you know, he tells him he had to do it, betrayed him, he had to do it, and he tells him, I need your help because there's a bomb who's gonna be detonated, and there's gonna be 11 million people who's gonna die if you don't help me. So Hans says, okay, I'll help you, you know, but after this is over, I'm gonna kill you. And Bruce Willis says, I believe you. And they go to the airplane to Armenia, and Mary Louise Parker, she goes and kidnaps this guy. The reason I don't know, because I kind of skip those scenes. I kind of push forward because I'm kind of annoying by that scene. She goes and kills one of the guys. She gets the key, and Anthony Hopkins escapes. They go to he kidnaps Mary Louise Parker. The gang goes to airplane. I love when Helen Mirren and Han is driving a car. Helen Mirren tries to shoot him, you know, while Anthony Hopkins with Mary Louise Parker is on the run, and there's a SUV behind them and starts shooting on Han and Victoria. And I like the scene when a great stunt team scene when Han turns around car and Helen Mirren goes and fires, and there's this SUV flips over. I like that scene on a car chase, really good scene. While John Malkovich and Bruce Willis on this helicopter, and I think they're like damaged with this bomb. And it's kind of confusing because the helicopter crashed, and if that will be for real, they were both dead. If I not mistaken, because I don't think no one would survive that kind of helicopter crash. I mean, no one survived airplane crash in that way. You know, so they both survived, which is kind of awkward in my opinion, kind of unrealistic. They survived, but okay, they survived. So with a bomb. If that would be for real, they both would be dead. And probably if it was a huge plutonium or whatever, a bomb, you know, everyone would be dead. It would make a massive distraction. But just this is just a fiction film, so okay, I'm gonna give a pass. But by the finale, Bruce Willis shows up, and Mary Louise Parker, he drops the gun, lets Bailey away. He gets the girl back. But when Bailey drives, you know, Anthony Hopkins drives an airplane, Han's airplane, he gets blown to pieces, which Moses, you know, he changed. He went and he switched the suitcase, which is a bomb, on the airplane, and the airplane exploded. It was just blown to pieces. By the end, you know, Han says, "I'm gonna kill you. You owe me $30 million for the airplane, $20 million because I let you live, you know, $50 million. You know, I'm gonna kill you. You're a dead man." And Sarah says he doesn't mean it. "Yes, I mean it, Frank." I like that scene. I mean, Han, I'll say that Lee Byung-hun, he was awesome. I mean, I like him. Han Chobai was the best of the film, which I think he saves the film. I think he was the best of the film. I mean, he should be in this shitty coward. He isn't, but Han, he was a really good one. I mean, he goes and kills this guy who hires him to kill someone, but says the target pays more than you, and he kills him with a paper. I like that scene. I mean, this guy was really good. Han Chobai was really good, played by Lee Byung-hun. So Lee Byung-hun, he was really good. He plays Han. He was really good, in my opinion. He really saved the movie, and he was really good. Even though with the humor, it's still a good sequel. Not my favorite. I don't know. I don't buy Mary Louise Parker's performance, like she wears a gun or she tries to be now like a CIA agent. I don't think that's just great. I don't like her at all in this movie. I think was just terrible, especially her outfits. or she was like kissing the guys, or she was like all jealous of Catherine Zeta-Jones. I mean, what the fuck? Oh, you hooked up with that? Oh my god, she annoyed me as hell. I'm sorry, but she annoyed me. Mary Louise Parker's performance annoyed me. I'm really sorry, but yes, it's true. She was the weak link in this movie. But the actor Lee Byung-hun, in my opinion, or Han, Han, he was the best of the film. He saved the film. Anthony Hopkins is okay. Brian Cox is in this movie, and both Anthony Hopkins, Brian Cox, they both played Hannibal Lecter. I like that Anthony Hopkins is a bad guy, but the first movie is better. I mean, the first movie, Rebecca Pigeon and Richard Dreyfuss as the villains were great. Carl Urban as William Cooper as the CIA agent was much better believable, in my opinion. Even if he was a good guy and a villain, he was still a good guy. I mean, the first movie I loved to death. I reviewed, I love the first movie. This one is a huge step down from the first movie, but I like the film for what it is. I like the sequel. Would like to see someday the third one, but it's better just ends with this one, because if they do another Red movie, it's gonna be terrible. If they doesn't put other characters in, it's just gonna be terrible. It's just better to leave it the way it is. The budget for this movie was $84 million, made in open weekend US and Canada only $18 million. It grows in US and Canada $53 million on the budget of $84 million. I think gonna deserve a lot more. Made worldwide actually $148.565 million. Let's see if it surpassed the first one. No, it didn't. It didn't even make more money than the first one. It didn't surpass the first one. And the same, I wasn't mentioned, but the same was with Sin City 2, They Met to Kill For. I thought it was terrible movie. I just didn't like at all the second movie. I thought the first one was a really good one, which is my favorite Bruce Willis, But sometimes the sequels are not the great or better as the first one. Maybe Terminator 2 Judgment Day is like considered one of the best sequels of all time, but like sometimes the sequels are not just the greatest as the original. Yeah, what I have to give credits to Bruce Willis and John Malkovich. They both did a great job. I like their performance. Bruce Willis was still awesome in this movie. The fight scenes between Han, I don't think that was a stuntman, so that was still cool. It was still a good one. Between Bruce Willis and Han, I thought was a really good one. Helen Mirren, she did okay in first movie. She was much better, but she did okay. She was okay. John Malkovich and Bruce Willis did a great job. They're both great. I don't like her in this movie. Mary Louise Parker, no. Catherine Zeta-Jones was okay, but she gets killed, just like was Morgan Freeman in the first movie. But yeah, she was. Catherine Zeta-Jones was okay. I didn't buy her performance that much, but okay, she's okay. Mary Louise Parker annoyed the hell on me. She sucked in this movie. I'm sorry, she sucked. I don't like her at all. The first movie I enjoyed. This movie it's a good movie, entertaining, fun sequel, but it's not better than the original. And I don't think I'll put this movie in my top 11 Bruce Willis movies. I did the first one, but I'm still gonna watch this movie, but I would say it's a good sequel, almost good as the first one, but it's not the best one. Definitely not better than the original. Also was different director. I wish Robert Schwenteke came back. Yeah, it still has some good action scenes, some good shootouts, some good gunfights. But the story and the plot, especially the story, is kind of confusing from time to time. It just isn't so much good story like the first movie. Like the first movie, I really enjoyed the heck out of the first movie. This movie I still like a lot, but I love the first one more. I'm sorry, it's just me, but maybe some. I had a co-worker who told me that he actually thought that he liked this movie more than the first one. It's a really good movie. I mean, I like this film a lot. I like this film, and yeah, but it's not better than the first and the original. A huge step back from the first one. I mean, I wish that's kind of lazy writing, in my opinion. I wish the story could have been a lot better. I wish the writers, you know, which they did so good in the first movie, they could actually change Mary Louise Parker's performance. Especially her whining. Oh, you hit them dead. Oh, I still don't like her. She was so annoying. Her outfit. Why the fuck was she wearing boots all the time? Why she was kissing two guys at once? Why? It's just terrible performance by Mary Louise Parker. I don't know what the producers were thinking with her costume, or what were thinking with her acting, or writing her like she's all jealous, or she keeps whining. Oh, I still didn't talk to you. Or she dresses like Catherine Zeta-Jones with all that hat, her costumes, and she leads Bruce Willis while Bruce Willis and John Malkovich had to find a taxi. Oh, Mary Louise Parker, you fucking suck in this movie. You suck. Your terrible performance. And I know I'll get that this people will give me dislike it or disagree with me. That's fine, but the rest of the film with the action sequences it's still a good one. But like I said, Han, played by Cho Bailey, he did a great job. He was awesome. He's the best of the film. In my opinion, he's the best of the film. But some good action sequences, but the plot, the story is terrible. Could have been better. But I'm just gonna finish here. That's my review on Red 2 2013 for the Bruce Willis marathon. One movie I'm still reviewing, then I'm actually going to do another video, and I'm gonna actually do my top 11 favorite Bruce Willis films, so stay tuned for tomorrow. I'm out. Take care. Peace.